What's up, guys? Kyle with Max Conversion here with you today to walk you through an audit and how we would audit a Google Ads account that came to us that wanted us to look over the account. I'm going to walk you guys through step by step exactly what we would do, what we would look for, what kind of good things they're doing, what kind of things they shouldn't be doing. This is exactly how a professional Google Ads agency would audit an account. So let's jump into it. We're going to jump into the highest spending account or the highest spending campaign first and review the data here. And so this kind of gives us a broad overview that these ads were run between September, let's just say January 2025 and September of 2025. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go to January of 2025, and then we're going to go to September of 2025 as well. And let's just do this. And then we're going to hit apply. So this is kind of the bulk, the meat of the campaign. This will give us a good idea of what's working and what's not during a specific time frame. So first thing that we're going to want to look at is the campaign structure and what we're seeing here in terms of what does this campaign look like. The first thing we're seeing is 1,200 clicks, click-through rate as 1%, which automatically indicates, hey, search terms are probably not good. There's probably something wrong with the ad copy, headlines, descriptions, and the search terms. This is a very low click-through rate for really any industry on a search campaign. Maximize conversions is fine. A under 1% conversion rate, again, indicates that, hey, search quality probably isn't very good for this campaign if we're getting a under 1% conversion rate. $313 per lead, really depends on the industry, but for painting, it's a little bit high. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is segment by Google search and the search partner network. So here's kind of the indicator, right? In the painting industry, we know that CPC should be higher than $2.80. What we're seeing here on Google search is about $8. Click-through rate is about 2.5. Conversion rate's about 2.5 as well. $278 per lead. But what we're seeing here is a good bit of spend, not a ton, but a good bit of spend. What we're seeing is getting leads from search partners. So we want to make sure that that is turned off. That's the initial diagnosis. We're going to look at conversion actions, see what kind of conversion actions are being fired. So lead form submissions as well as phone calls. So totally okay. Next, we're going to go to the settings. And what we're going to look at is we're going to scroll down here. We're going to check location settings quickly. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want. And then really that's about it. You know, everything else looks good. AI Max is turned off. Maximize conversions, submit lead form. All of this looks good on our end. So nothing in the campaign settings other than, that previous, running search partners, why that may have not worked. Now, what we're going to look at are the ad groups, what kind of ad groups we're getting conversions. So what we see here is we're going to go ahead and filter. We're just going to filter by it has more than a click. Just kind of, reduce our view of all the data. And what we're seeing here is, hey, cost here is about $1,400. Cost here is about $600. And those are the two main ones. So commercial painters and painting services have spent the most money. Now, if we go into here, what we see is some broad match keywords. So initially what I thought was, hey, click-through rate's a little bit low. What's going on here? Probably the search term in quality is not the best. So, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Hey, we have two broad match. We have more broad. It seems like all keywords are broad match. $157 cost per lead isn't terrible, but it's still not good. 6% conversion rate, not good either, but it's getting up there. It's past that 1%. So, we're seeing here is, hey, broad match is probably the culprit here, right? The search term quality is probably really bad. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to look at the search terms, and immediately we notice, hey, all these are not great. Concrete floor, furniture painting, maybe union if they're not union, delta, maybe they want door, but probably not. So immediately we're looking and seeing that, hey, all these keywords that they are spending money on are really not good quality, right? You don't want anything to do with paint shops or even top tier painting is not good, painting perfection. It's just, you want keywords that are associated and intentional behind the search, right? So if you're a plumbing company, you want, hey, I want a plumber near me, emergency plumber, somebody to come out and fix my toilet. You want those terms that drive quality traffic. People are intentionally looking for you. So these are not good search terms. So this automatically indicates to me, hey, click-through rate was low because we were using broad match, and broad match is resulting in poor quality search terms. This campaign would never work no matter the landing page or anything on the back end because the search quality is so bad. So whether they're running it to a homepage, and in this case, they are running it to a homepage, you want to switch that as well, but that is not the culprit of this campaign. Auditing this campaign, we could say, hey, you need to tighten everything up. And so, and if we know a little bit about the industry and know about local home service companies, we can advise on additional things that the company can do and actions they can take to improve the account. So one of those things is, so if we look at, and here we have some even worse, right? Colors. They spent only $11 on that. But you just don't want new colors. These are people looking for, hey, I'm looking for a color for my new kitchen cabinet. I'm looking for inspiration. You don't want those. So next thing we look at is device. So we recommend for most local home service companies, and this varies, right? If you're in e-commerce, totally different. If you're more of a business-oriented B2B, totally different as well. But if you're consumer facing, a lot of times mobile device is going to outperform desktop. So what I would recommend for this campaign, and these are additional things that they can do. We're auditing the account and say, hey, solution, let's fix up search terms. Let's also remove tablet and computers from the campaign entirely. We can see here, cost per click's a little bit less, but cost per conversion significantly less. So we say, hey, we focus on mobile device. We're going to get, a third of the cost as desktop. Now, there's not a big enough data pool to determine that, but for most home service companies, we'll just go ahead and remove tablet and computer. We'll review the assets. So we'll verify that, hey, these assets are, they've got them all. They've got the site links, they've got the call outs, they've got the business name, the images, etc. We want to verify that they have all that information. So that's another big thing, is verify those assets, make sure they have all the assets. For most companies, you're going to want images, business name, business logo, site links, call out, structured snippet, call, usually lead form and message you don't have. If you're a local home service company, you got a G&B profile, add location. If you can add price, add the price. But for most companies, depending on where you're at, you can't really transparently add price, so don't add that. App, usually don't add. And then promotion, always add this. If you're a home service company, or if you're a lawyer, or promotions are one of those things that we recommend to every client that they do, because if you run a promotion, you're more likely to pull somebody in and get somebody to take that extra step and reach out to you. Now, your conversion rate might go up, your cost per lead might go down, you might lose a little bit of revenue, but long-term lifetime value of a customer, referrals from that customer, you're going to make more money. Always offer a promotion if you can. Now, we looked at keywords, we looked at assets, we looked at the campaign details and settings, when and where I'd show. And next thing we're going to look at is audiences. Do they have some sort of audiences on observation mode? And the answer is yes, they do, but they don't have any data. So what I recommend for this company, this is another just additional solution on top of the audit. It's not required, but what I would do if I was them is I would add as many of these as you can, right? Just go through here and add all these on observation mode. Probably not current college student, and probably not renter either, but just go through, add all those, add all these, and just kind of, you add them all, go through them all. There's over 100. But over time, you guys are going to get the good data from those audiences, and you'll be able to figure out what audiences are working for your campaign if there's enough volume. And then what I would do is I would turn them on targeting mode on those specific ones that are working. Another thing we would do is we look at, hey, how are the ages performing? I would almost bet if there's a painting campaign, you want to remove anywhere from about 18 to 34, even up to 44 years old, right? These people are probably paying their house themselves in most cases. But for a painter, I'd probably remove, these two right here. Nothing with gender, household income. Again, painting services, probably want to remove the lower 50%. They're spending a significant amount of budget on there. If they reallocate that budget to the top 50%, they're going to get more out of it. They're going to get more quality traffic. They're going to get more quality in terms of leads. When they do reach out, they're going to have more money. And so you want to target those people who are within the top 50%, sometimes even within the top 30%. Really all depends on your goal and how wide your area stretched and everything. So that's a big thing. Ad schedule here. Run these typically during business hours, but this is totally up to the business. If they want to run it longer, totally okay as well. But we do recommend running during business hours specifically. And that's really it, guys. So we would also look at, what do the auction insights look like? Who else are the advertisers, and are they still advertising? And so what we would do for this is we may jump over to the Google Ads Transparency Center to review what are these advertisers, what are they showing for? Are they still advertising? Is it working in their market? Because sometimes you never know, they could be doing a different promotion than you. You got to compete with the people who are competing with you. You got to stay up to date on what competitors are doing and do your best to lead the way, right? If there's no promotions in the market, add that promotion in the market. In all reality, for most home service companies, local companies, you're only advertising against a few people. You got the big guys, right? You got Angie and CertaPro and Thumbtack. But then you got the little guys too. Really, at the end of the day, you're advertising against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other advertisers. And, you want to review what they're doing and what they're not doing so that you can build out these campaigns and make them where they stand out compared to other competitors. So that's really the big thing, guys. We'd also review the conversion goals. In this case, it looks like they're doing okay. If we have access to Google Tag Manager, we'll verify that those conversions are being tracked properly. You do want to do that. That way you are, that that the conversions are firing. If a client is saying, hey, or you're doing an audit on your own account or a client's account, or, you're just doing an audit and they say, hey, we think we're getting all these leads, but we have no conversion data set up. It's very hard to audit the campaign because you don't have any conversion data. So you can kind of indicate based off search terms and targeting and just your general expertise. But really at the end of the day, you want to go off the conversion data, what's converting, what's not converting, and then drive in that strategy. Pause the keywords that are not performing, keep the keywords that are performing, keep those in the loop, tighten up those search terms, and then go from there. Let the campaign run, test it out, and then refine it. And this is something you guys can do pretty consistently on your campaign. Once you do your audit, you make the changes, you update the campaign. The thing you should be doing ongoing, optimization-wise, is making sure that these search terms are good quality, right? Over here in these search terms, making sure that these are good quality. You guys aren't spending money on things that you shouldn't be spending money on. They're intentional searches. And then fine-tuning your landing page, fine-tuning your audiences, swapping out that bid strategy once it's ready for, target CPA or whatever bid strategy you guys are using. And so constantly testing and refining is very important. But the big thing is you want as much control over the campaign as you possibly can get. A lot of times with Google, there's certain instances where it's okay to be broad, let Google take care of it. But in most cases, you're going to want that control. So do whatever you guys can to kind of get in front of Google, have that control, have your hands on the steering wheel in different ways. But this is exactly how we would audit an account. We would look at all this data and very briefly go through it. We'd go deeper into the landing page, right? Like if they had more conversion data, we knew their search traffic was good and their conversion rate wasn't great. We would jump into landing page. How is that? Where does it go? Does it go to the website? Does it go to an individual page? Do they have an offer on it? Is it structured nice? Is it loading fast? So there's all those additional things that we may do on the back end. But if step one isn't good, which is search terms, then you know that's the culprit, and you can't really judge the landing page or anything on the back end off those off those poor quality traffic. So if you guys got any use out of this video or have any questions, make sure you comment down below, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more helpful Google Ads content.